We're getting everyone in. How are we doing? We are 1 week out from Christmas. How insane is that to those who celebrate? I am just getting everyone in. Hello. I see a lot of familiar faces. I see some who I haven't seen in a while. I'm sorry to hear you're not doing well, Kish. Let's see. And I see some new faces. All right, so where are you located? Hi, Ruth. Ruth, I still have one of your raffle things. I need to get to you when I see you next. I haven't forgotten you. Let's see. Missouri. Yes, hi, Teresa. Massachusetts, Houston, Missouri. You have a lot of Missouris tonight. Atlanta. Yes, hi. Texas, Georgia, Florida, Las Vegas, Cincinnati, Ohio, Washington. I will be there end of next week. I'll be in Seattle visiting my best friend. South Carolina, Dallas, North Carolina. Fantastic. I'm located in Boca Raton, Florida. South Carolina. Okay. Dallas. Hello, hello. Okay. I love it. Hey. Yep. Good to see you again. All right. Now, are you new to investing or have already done deals? Now, tonight's going to work a little differently than if you've been on previous events because this is a mastermind, right? So you're going to mastermind with Laura and myself and each other. So this is going to require for participation. But if it's going to cause you to get off, don't like disappear, okay? But it's going to require participation into the chat. And something that's really good about me and Laura is the more you participate, and people can attest to this who were in the masterclass last week or the wholesaling workshop before, the more information we give out. Who was in the masterclass and felt like they were drinking from a fire hose that entire time, right? So we give out more and more info, more and more information. Okay, okay, done some deals, I see. All right. Refreshing. It was. Yeah, it was a really good one. I was really happy with it. New. Okay. All right, Laura, you want to say anything?
No, you're doing an amazing job as usual.
Just getting getting small talk while we get everyone in. All right. Okay. So love, love, love this. Keep on interacting and talking. But like I said, this is a mastermind. You will be interacting with us. We are doing the mastermind with the masters, basically. It's a good title. We should like switch that. And I also have Maria on. A lot of you met her last week. She's one of our coaches and a wealth of information. I know a few of you were able to speak with her and all that too, and we're loving it. Okay, so she'll be on and kind of talking randomly throughout tonight as well. So, Laura, let's get going.
Yes. So this evening is more about kind of resetting and bring you some things into awareness for you. So I hope you have pen and paper because we're going to give you some exercises. Like I said, this is mastermind. We're now specifically talking about real estate as far as strategy. That's what the master class is for. This is what the workshop is for. But we were told one time that 80% of what we do has to do with mindset. Only really 20% is about skills. So you do need skills in order to bring things into focus and make things happen in your life. But it's important that we know where we're going, right? You can't just get behind a car and drive aimlessly if you don't know where you want to go or what your goals are. So what this is what we're going to talk about tonight. And this is the perfect time because we're at the end of 2024, we're getting into 2025, we're looking ahead on what is going on, we're reframing ourselves and our purpose of what we want to do. And we want to share with you the possibilities of what you can realistically achieve. I don't want to build a pipe dream. I don't want to tell you, oh, yeah, you can do this, click a button and it happens. You got to do the work. But are you at a point in your life where you say, I got to make this work? I got to make this happen. There's no option B. this has to work. When you get to that point, then you can do anything. Real estate is really a tool just to live the life of you want. How many of you, live to work? Seriously, all your life revolves around working, getting up, going to work. Tonight, we're going to talk about how you can work. Real estate is actually a tool to live the life that you want. So we're going to flip on that. So let's go ahead, Liz, move forward. So share a little bit about you for the ones of you that don't know.
Yes, I'll keep it really short because a lot of you do know who I am. My name is Liz. I am Laura's daughter. Alex, who is also on here, is Laura's daughter as well. She's my sister, and yes, we're full-blooded. Everyone asks because we look nothing alike. But I have been investing since 2015, 9 years in October. Now, one thing that was really cool about what I've done is I've done this completely virtual, meaning um, that I started in 2015 and knew I wanted a completely virtual business so that I could be there for my son, so I could show up, so I can do what I need to do. I could travel the world and all of that. And so I built my business completely virtual. So I've been wholesaling for 9 years. I have never walked through a property that I plan to wholesale. I never have met with a buyer in person, never met with a seller in person, and any of that. So I've been doing that for 9 years. I will share at the end that I closed my biggest deal to date just the end of last month, so you could see proof of process. And yeah, so I just talk a lot about that. In 2020, with everything going on in COVID, we had to bring, Laura had to bring, because I was not a coach at the time, all of the students virtual overnight, and she asked me to help out. And one of the things that I really loved about that was seeing the students win and seeing the students be like, oh my gosh, this is possible. And something that took me 3 years to master and trial and error of building systems and making this virtual and making a lot of mistakes. I taught them basically overnight and they were doing deals. And when I saw that, that's when I really found my passion of coaching and transforming lives. So I went from basically the rags to riches kind of story. I went from losing 50 pounds in 3 months because I couldn't afford to eat so that my son could, doing all this kind of stuff, heavy in debt, not living in the best of places, to buying my dream home in 2020, to that's my dream car right there. I was talking about it on the masterclass last week. That's her. And my son now is 12 and a half, and we live a life that we genuinely enjoy. I mean, so I really share that to show you that life can transform. Now, I'm not saying it was easy. Like I said, it took 3 years to master the virtual because no one was really doing it before me. No one was, there were people out there, they were doing their version, but the version that I was kind of seeing with the automations and not having to physically ever be there and signing online was really, really new when I started. It was just kind of becoming a thing. Tools were not a thing like that, like PropStream and all that. That came a few years into it. So, I've been 9 years now. Every deal has been completely virtual, and I oversee 19 real estate clubs around the country. I have been featured in the news twice for virtual investing. I've been featured in the newspaper, and I've mentored thousands of students, and it's just been an amazing dream to be able to witness all of that. And I'm really excited to help you all kind of figure out what you want to do and how you want to do that. But if you're wanting freedom of time, freedom to travel, freedom to give back, freedom to give to your family, but really just to kind of live life a little more on your own, then virtual, even if it's in a 50% aspect, is an amazing thing to pick up. And I will talk a lot about that tonight. Laura,
Okay. Yes.
your turn.
So I had somebody asked me a question yesterday, and it says, "So how did you get started? Why did you get started?" Okay, and I said to her, "It was purely by chance. I did not have. I was in college. I came from Italy, if you want by my accent, and I was in Hawaii at the time, and I was finishing up college." And I realized that coming from Italy, here in America, there is such a thing as student loans. We don't have those in Italy, I think. And so I was like, I don't want to pay for college. I don't want to have student loans. I grew up in a society and a culture where everything was paid for cash. And so the thing is, it's like I look at real estate as a way of something flexible to fill in the blanks, to get the money that I needed to finish college. The funny thing is, I did go to college. I got my bachelor in 91. I got my master. But the thing is, real estate paid for college. But then I fell in love with real estate. Real estate to me made more sense financially. By the time I was in corporate, I was making 3 times more in real estate than I was in my day-to-day job. And I was like, why am I staying in this office 40 plus hours a week when I was working in real estate maybe 10 to 15 hours a week and I was making so much more? So that was really an incentive for me in 95 to migrate out of corporate and do real estate full time. Another thing that I want to say going back, and I don't want to share just with you what I did and do. A lot of you have heard that already. So I want to go back to the basics. And one of the things that I think made me very successful back then is from the beginning is that I expected to be successful. And this is huge, guys. If you go into this business and you think of the problems, you think of the things that happen along the way, you think of why this happens or that happened, and rules and laws, and you're afraid of stepping out and doing it, you're not going to move forward. But instead, I expected this to work. Hey, I read the book said it was going to work. It worked for these people, it will work for me. Yes, it's a little bit naive, right? But the thing is, it made me into the person that I was. I had total enthusiasm. I had total expectation. I went in believing 100% it was going to work. I went in believing that people were going to give me properties. Okay. And the building I had here, the picture on the left here, I financed 100% owner finance, totally rehab, turnkey, fully rented. And Maria knows exactly where it is. It's on the address for this is 720 Inter Drive, which is in the Loop in U City. And the thing is, I got this building handed to me. I went to the city a few years later and I was raising private money and I was talking to the alderman in the 23rd district, and they wanted to build new homes. And they gave me 4 city blocks for $1. We just had to put those 2 spec homes, and then we sold 23 homes altogether. And it was easy. So the expectation of me when I went into business of doing it, yes, of course, things work and didn't work. But the thing is, I didn't let that knock me down. I didn't let that to say, oh my God, I'm going to go back to corporate now because this is not working. Absolutely not. Okay, that was never even a question. And the fact is that, I live the life of my dream. Like Liz, she has a Jeep. I don't have a normal car. I have the Morgan up there, and Cruella de Vil is because that was my costume for Halloween. And that was a Cruella de Vil type car, so it kind of go together. But anyway, so that's the life that I want. And I walk on the beach every day and I travel. So real estate afforded me all that. Okay, but like I said, I went in with expectation, enthusiasm, and belief it was going to work. If it worked for somebody else, why shouldn't it work for me? I'm always thinking of solutions. I'm not going to think of the problems. It's that one of my mentors, which by the way, yes, we've been in the news, but you guys see this book behind me over here on my right, this book right here that Nia Liz wrote. There is interviews here of women that I personally interviewed that have inspired my journey, and also Elizabeth inspired her journey. And 2 of them, especially the first 2 in this book, they were like a force of nature. And one of the things that they say, the second one, she's in her 90s and she's still in real estate. And I interviewed her last year, and I said, what is the secret? What is the secret to be you successful for so many years? She was the president of the board of realtors in Honolulu for many, many years. And she said to me, I'm a solution. I provide solutions. I fix problems. Okay, that was her secret for her success. Okay, so that's the thing. As women, we provide solutions, we fix problems. Come on, we do this all the time anyway. Might as well get paid for it sometime, right? So that's the thing about, the real estate that I love. Maria, I would like to introduce Maria very quick. I know we don't have a slide for you, but can you give a couple of minutes? And pure coincidence, guys, we're both Italian, but we stumbled into each other in real estate here in the States. So Maria, you want to introduce yourself?
we stumble into each other because of the mindset. We have the same mindset. So we're meant to meet eventually because you always find your tribe. But yeah, so hello, everybody. And I actually am located in St. Louis, but Laura is trying to get me to Florida. And and I've been in real estate since 2007, which some of you may remember was the eve of when the real estate market completely crashed. We're going into the Great Recession. And so I started actually as a flipper. And while I had just finished rehabbing my house, getting it ready, my first deal, getting it ready to resell, basically the market fell out, and I was at risk of basically of losing on my very first deal, which I don't like losing money. And so basically I figured out, I said, okay, what else can I do? And I figured out a new strategy, ended up doing a lease option, which I had no idea what it was before I started asking questions. How do I not lose money? And I ended up actually breaking even on that, despite the fact that houses were worth about 25 to 50% less in the next year. Now, why do I mention this? Because again, that was mindset. I had already been an investor for some time. I was an online investor. I was managing high net worth portfolios and investing in the stock market and so on. And basically, my expectation was that I was going to make money. Now, that means, I mean, we cannot control everything. However, we can control how we think about things. If I had just said, well, the market is falling out and left it at that, that would have not been pretty. Not many people can recover from a big loss right up front. Okay. At the time, I wasn't being coached by anybody, so I really didn't know what to do. And so that's where the mindset comes in, where I'm like, okay, what can I learn? And that's when I started getting coaching. And thank goodness. And that's always saved me from making silly mistakes. But then over time, I have gone on to do hundreds and hundreds of wholesale deals, fix and flips. I have done many rentals as well. And I have tried, Airbnb, I've tried all kinds of different things. But again, because the mindset is there's more out there. There's always something out there. Because I've been in business for almost 20 years and I started at the very bottom, as I said, right during the Great Recession. And my thing has always been, and again, we tell ourselves the stories, right? And our stories will put an imprint on how we treat our lives, how we think of our business. And my story to myself, which happens to be based in reality, but I mean, again, you tell yourself the empowering stories you have to, was that all successful businesses, or the vast majority of successful businesses, were started during recessions. So basically I told myself, great, that means that I'm going to be doing quite well. And that's always how I've comported myself. And it makes a difference in what you expect. Like Laura was just explaining, she went in with the assumption that people would give her deals. Guess what? She put herself in that way. People didn't give her deals while she was sleeping until, 3 p.m. every day and stuff. She just put herself out there. And then magically, people are giving her deals. This is based on, again, your expectations, and you behave according to your expectations and your mindset. And I've done the same thing. Basically, what I did is, okay, well, people are losing their house because it was the recession. I started doing short sales. I said, okay, what's needed right now? We are the solution, like the lady, Laura's friend, and the example she was talking about said. And that, again, is based on how do you think of yourself? For example, I know one of the big obstacles in real estate, people say, oh, I'm afraid of speaking with people because we're always afraid of selling. I'm like, we are not selling. We are buying. We are offering solutions. So yeah, so that's pretty much my story. Now, obviously, I work with Laura because I love it. I love this group of women that she's put together, and the fact that we are spreading this gift that is real estate, because it truly is a gift. And I hope all of you guys will get the chance to experience this.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So one of the things that Laura and I like to do is to reward people who show up, are committed, and completely interact. So one of the things that I want to do to gain a little bit of energy and conversation into the chats and all of that is I want you to say if you are committed to staying on this workshop till the end and that you'll be paying attention. So you could just say, I'm committed. And then if so, as well, I want to also reward the top 3 interactors of the night with a roadmap that will teach you how to make over 100K in the next 6 months. So who would like to start the new year of 2025, right? With already knowing some of the steps, having this roadmap of how to do it. So the top 3 interactors of the night, there we go. Now I'm seeing some energy in the chat. So the top 3 interactors of the night, my team is going to keep an eye on it. We'll then send you tomorrow, okay, because we're going to get off pretty late Eastern time, but we'll send you this roadmap on what to do. Sound good? So we're going to give like a little overview near the end today for everyone. So don't worry, but then you will get a more in-depth one at the end for those who are the top 3. Okay.
And can I add something, Liz?
Yeah.
Okay. Are we doing the student calls on Monday next week, right?
Yeah, it's a Christmas party.
Okay. But can we do a little bit of work next Monday?
I'm not, you can.
Okay. So, no, what I'm saying is,
Kidding.
we have several students here tonight, and several of you that are joining are going to be on the kickoff call this Thursday. I am going over the map with you. I'm going to have you do the exercise, see how you can make $100,000 or more in 2025. How many of you would like that? This is for the students that are going to show up on Monday for the Christmas party. I'm also going to have you an exercise. We're going to reverse engineer how you're going to make $100,000 in 2025. Good. Okay. So show up
You're
at
okay with that.
yeah,
Okay.
this Thursday at the kickoff call. I will give you some hints so you can do the homework over the weekend and we can hit the ground running.
Okay. So now what we're going to do is keep on moving on. So proof of concept, right? We've already been featured in the news. What's funny is that Estrina, she joined us after this interview and became a student of ours. And that's how she knew that I started very broke and announced that to all the world on the second interview. I will never get over that portion. And then, of course, we've been featured in REI Wealth Magazine and then in the Sun Sentinel and all kinds of other things too. This is our retreat. So once a year, we get all of our ladies together and all of our coaches together, and we hang out in Fort Lauderdale, and it's just very, very fun as well. So just wanted to kind of talk about that and show that as well. Now, for those of you that do not have this already, go ahead and my team is going to put a link into the chat and you can download our 7 Simple Steps ebook. This is just as our way of saying thank you for being on tonight and hanging out with us and all of that too. And it gives you just 7 steps to successful real estate investing. Sound good? Okay. All right, Laura, let's kind of go over what we're going to be talking about tonight.
Okay, so we're going to go like a lot of exercises first. So make sure you have pen and paper because I'm going to ask you some real question. There are 3 steps when it comes to really making big shifts. And how many of you are ready to make a big shift for 2025? To really say, okay, I'm done playing. This is going to be the year. How many of you are? Okay, raise your hands. I want to see. Okay, otherwise I'm not going to say that to you. But there are 3 steps. You want to know what they are to really make a big shift in your life? The first one is awareness. Okay, we're going to talk about awareness this evening. I'm going to ask you some really tough questions. The second one is where the perfect time of the year now with the holidays is taking a step back, chill. You know, go out there and have the champagne, have an eggnog, you know, take a break, step away from it, okay? Don't go to the mall, just go somewhere else, but step away from it, okay? And the third one is take inspired action. So we're going to talk tonight about that, taking inspired action, what you have to do. So that's why I wanted to make sure that the students here, we have kickoff call this Thursday. A lot of you I'm going to see on there. But then I'm going to really, really go over the game plan with you, even more so in depth until it's ready, imprinted in your head, so you can take 2025 up and running. So on top of that, we're going to talk about the 3 pillars of REI, of real estate investing. We're going to give you a roadmap this evening. Expectation. What can I expect in the next 60 days? What can I expect in the next 6 months? What I can expect by the end of next year, right? Realistically, we're going to show you that. Then we're going to go into goals and expectations. I'm going to give you some rule of thumbs. How much can you expect to make wholesaling or buy and hold or fix and flip? So then you can reverse engineer that. So I'm going to need your input so that we can help you create your roadmap. And last but not least, how does game plan and support work, especially if you want to be part of this community? So we have a lot to cover here today, but I want to make sure that you guys stay on board because this is going to be life-changing for 2025. Okay, so now let's talk about you. So next, Liz. Okay, so I want to put in the box here in the chat, what real estate strategy are you most interested in right now? Now, meaning the next 6 months, okay? I know all of them are great, and by the end of the next year, you might do 2 or 3 of them. But right now, what do you think is going to move the needle the fastest for you? It's going to get you out of whatever situation you want to get out of. That is going to get you where you need to go. Okay, wholesaling, which is always the majority, but there is some buy and hold. See, wow, fix and flip. So, okay, but most of it are wholesaling. Okay, so Laura Thomas says, I need a new roof and medical bill. So wholesaling. Yeah, I call wholesaling my ATM machine, right? Liz, you want to add something about this?
No, wholesaling's it. I know I need to get, you know, my CPA. I was telling my my students today during our call, we had an amazing call where I brought one of the students up and she gave so many tips for the ladies who are scared and stuff. But I was saying that I'm getting yelled at by my CPA because I won't move on from wholesaling. Like I won't add in I haven't added in any rentals. And he's pretty much telling me if I don't do it, he doesn't know if he can work with me anymore because it's stressing him out. He's totally joking, but that's his threat. So one of the things is because I have to get him to lower my taxes as much as possible, right? So he's trying to find off all these write-offs. So he's like, it would be a million times easier. So I love wholesaling. I really do. I like the low liability. I like the craziness of it. It is stressful. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes it can be really, really stressful, but I really like it. And I like, Laura, like she says, the ATM machine. I mean, I made $122,000 on a deal last month. How would that feel? I mean, that's not the norm now, okay? That was a goal that I put into place because I saw another coach do 111,000. So like, but how would that feel to make $122,000 on a single deal? Right? So that is why I like wholesaling. Now you can do that with flips. Rentals is a slower ascent to that kind of income, okay? So rentals is a little bit of a slower ascent to not 122,000 unless you buy a lot of rentals, but it is a slower ascent to having some kind of like good chunk of income coming in, but I love it. Yeah, exactly. If it's broke, why fix it? I have a great team and all of that. Now, who did I learn? Someone asked that from? Laura. So you're in the right spot. Okay. All right. Moving on.
So how many of you are looking to transition out of your current job or retirement? How many of you? Okay. And let me add on to this. Why? Okay. What do you think you can do more or better if you did a business like real estate instead of having an 8 to 5 job? Okay. I want to share this story with me because I was in a lot of your situation. You know, I went to school, got my bachelor degree, and then I was in real estate for a couple of years full time. Then I decided I wanted to use my degree. I wanted to get my master because, you know, I bought into the mentality that you have to use your degree, right? You need the security, you need the benefits, you need all that. So I went back into corporate and while I was getting my MBA. But when I got to almost have an MBA. I did get finished. I was only a semester away, but I got to the point that I just couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't sit in that job. I couldn't sit in the cubicle. I couldn't punch in every day. I was just tired of that. And I was like, I don't want to be here for the next 30 years of my life doing this. I don't want to be here where somebody tells me how many sick days I can have, how many vacation days I can have, or having, you know, to pay for my children to be in a daycare all the time. And, you know, Elizabeth was only 6 years old at the time. So that was me. I got to the point that it was actually painful to be at work. And when you get to the point, trust me, you will do anything to get out of the situation. I had a fire in me, and that's why I knew real estate could do it. Okay. So I want to read some of these chats.
And like coming off of that, that was something too, was and I explained this in the masterclass, but I know this hits for a lot of people. I was tired of being the broke friend, the broke daughter, the broke whatever, right? Like I wasn't that person. And so I was constantly, people had to lend money to me You know, I couldn't go out and do anything. I couldn't hang out. My son, you know, I was barely making it, so he could. And it was just like something like that that really shifted. And I got tired of seeing empty kitchen cabinets and tired of having panic attacks over my bank account every morning because something came through that shouldn't, or I got negative over $1,000 in my bank account at one point and I was already behind, right? So it was things like that where I wasn't even living above my means. I didn't have means to live with. So it was like, it was just a big struggle. And so what I wanted was freedom. Yes, freedom from stress. I wanted to be able to wake up and not worry that the bills are going to be covered. So exactly. I didn't want to worry. You don't want to worry. And now I've been there. And so in 5 years I shifted. Now I got out of debt pretty quick. Yeah, the broke sister, right? So I got out of debt pretty quick, but I had wholesaling to thank for that. Okay? I had wholesaling to really, really be there. And that's something that mattered too.
Yeah, if you want to do something different in the coming year, you have to get uncomfortable. You know, a lot of you are too comfortable. Yeah, maybe you have a job you don't like. Maybe you are in a situation that it's not particularly ideal, but you are comfortable, you know? And I'm sure a lot of you have been in the situation where you were in this relationship, you were married to somebody, or you're in this relationship, and you knew this relationship wasn't good for you, wasn't going nowhere, you were unhappy, and you wanted to walk away, but you didn't. And you didn't, and you didn't. And then one day you said, if I don't walk out of this relationship, I'm going to end up in TV on one of those crime shows. Okay. I need to walk away. So, I'm on my
She was
third.
going to be on Snapped.
I know I was going to be on Snapped. This me. Okay. So I'm on my third marriage right now. Okay. So I can say something to that effect. But the thing is this, you get to the point where you don't want to do that anymore. So even with your job or anything you're doing in your life, you drag on, but you got to do something. You have to get uncomfortable. Insanity comes from doing the same things and expecting different results, right? So now I want you to share, and this is totally us. We're in a safe environment here. I just want to bring you some awareness into your life here. Okay, that's all we're doing tonight. And then we're going to give you some real cool tips on how to do this. I'm going to share a roadmap with you. But what is going on in your life right now, today, this moment, that you feel real estate is what you want to do? What is it that, they say it's like the impulse that you say, real estate is the tool to live the life that I want. I'm tired of living to work. So what is it? What is it really?
Yeah, why real estate? Why, out of all the things you could have chosen, why real estate? On the struggle bus, tired of it. Build a legacy for my kids, okay? I've already jumped in. I love real estate and always have. It's the ultimate hustle, better than Tupperware. Yeah.
Elizabeth, do you want to tell a little bit about the 7 questions to dig deep?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So I did an exercise. We actually we went to this conference in Phoenix, Arizona, where it was a bunch of billionaires in the room. We're not billionaires, okay? I'm going to get there, but we're not there yet. All right. But we got invited to this. And Dean Graziosi was there. And Dean Graziosi, Laura like fangirled over him. I was like, I know you're big in real estate, but whatever. But she like fangirl full on. And so he was doing this education piece where he was talking about the 7 whys. I would have fangirled too. And he was talking about the 7 whys. And basically what it comes down to, and I'm going to tell you this, is if your why, and this is something that I say, if your why doesn't make you cry, it's not strong enough. Okay. So something that is very, very powerful to get you to do this or get you to build is important, and it's going to shift. But what the why is continuing to dig till you find the real reason you want to do this. So I'm going to share my why from the beginning. So my why in the very beginning, because once I decided to do it, or let's say once I got the idea in my head, I didn't do anything for 10 months. And when I say I hit rock bottom, I was digging into the bottom. Like we couldn't get lower and I kept digging. And finally, after a 3-hour conversation with Laura, because she is Italian and won't stop until you give her the answer she needs, okay? She's an Italian mother. I had a 3 conversation. I found my why. And my why was I never wanted to struggle like I did while growing up. When recessions hit, and Laura has her own story on that, you've heard at the retreat, but to keep it short tonight, we would lose everything. We would be barely eating. Then at 25, I lost everything again. Okay? I lost everything again. I wasn't eating. I was living off of ramen and peanut butters and Oreos because that's all we could afford at the time. I don't even know what I would have done if inflation was around that at that point. So I do feel for those who are now in that position. And I was like, I don't want to live like this anymore. And why should I? Why can everyone else? And I lived in South Florida and I could see the money that was floating around. Why? And I looked at my son, and he was 2.5, who had no idea what was going on. He was being fed. But I looked at him and I said, this won't be his life, and this won't be mine anymore. And from that decision, I had moved into doing deals. Okay. So for you, you have to figure out what it is. My why is that I am never going to see an empty kitchen again. My why is that I'm never going to see a negative balance. My why is that I'm never going to be the broke friend. My why is that I can now support my friends if needed. The fact I'm going to Seattle next week to be there for my best friend who has lost everything this year. I went in July and I paid and had her house cleaned. I took care of her. I bought her kids the things they needed. I bought her the stuff she needed for her house. Like, that's my why, is to be able to give back and help. And that was something that was really, really important. So my why has now grown to, I can take care of people and I want the means to do so. Not just myself, because of course I live a great life. If anyone's been following me the last month, it's been really fun. But it's also to be there to take care of people, to show up for people, to give money where it's needed, to adopt families for Christmas, to donate food and quality things to people and all of that. So that was something that was really, really strong. And like, the point that now that I talk about it, my voice shakes because it's that powerful to me. So you have to find what is that powerful for you, because that's the reason you're going to do this. And that's how you're going to get over your fear, because your fear, this has to be stronger than your fear. This has to be like, I have to do this. I have no choice, right? Sorry, that was a little tangent, but it's true.
That was
Okay.
so nice. I was listening to you.
Huh?
It was so nice. I was just listening to you.
But it's true. And I'm reading your comments, and it's something that it needs to be that powerful that you go on your tangents because you're like, I don't want this anymore. And I told
Yeah.
you this last week, we need money in the hands of good people, people who are going to do good in this world, who are going to help take care of people. We need money in your hands, not the greedy people, not the people that are doing wrong and all this crazy stuff and the sex trafficking and stuff like that. We need money in the hands of women who are out there to change the world. And that's why it's really, really important that you start making money, because if not, it's just going to get worse for the people who aren't making money. They're going to get taken more advantage of. And I want to make sure that we all get taken care of. And that's why I coach.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's one of the things I was telling my husband. I said, I'm already donating to charities, and I said this year I want to keep adding 2 charities a year and double on the charities every year as well. So that I want to do that. I feel like I've been blessed, and I want to do something there to bless in return. Because at the end of the day, things you get to a point that is enough is enough. I don't need a 20,000 square foot house. Why would I need a 20,000 square foot house? So that's the thing. It's like, what can you do with the money to enrich other people's life, since you've been blessed to enrich yours? And that's what real estate can do, right? So I have my whys, and like Liz says, if your why is not strong enough to make you cry, it's not strong enough. So I'm reading what the chats, and it's amazing, but dig deep, okay? Dig deep, journal, write on it, do what you need to do, dig deep until you get to that emotional state.
You'll know you've reached it when like, where you'll still feel fear, where the fear isn't going to be what stops you anymore. Okay. And fear shows up as procrastination. Fear shows up as, I don't have time. Fear shows up as, I don't have the money to do this. Fear shows up as a million excuses. If you aren't doing it, it's an excuse, and it comes down to you're putting it into fear. So that was something that was really important for us to figure that out.
Yeah,
right,
I
Laura.
like that Jessica is saying, I would love to pick Christmas wish list of the angel trees. I never heard of that. I need to look into
Yeah, you can go to Walmart and pick. I did it once, and so now I adopt families, but you can go to Walmart and basically you can buy, like, pick these little papers up. Now they don't do them as often anymore. They do more online, which really drives me nuts. And you actually can buy gifts for what these kids and these families are asking for. It's really cute.
Okay, I'll have to look into that. But yeah, so that's great. Okay, so we just wanted to invite you to one of the things we want to do today is, and one of the things I want to do in general is that we want to grow the community. We want to grow this tribe of women that are going to empower other women. And this is very, very important for us, to do that. So I would like for you to book your strategy session to see how we can really empower you moving forward into 2025. We have the last kickoff call for this year, this Thursday on the 19th, okay? This is the last time to really, and this is going to be a powerful kickoff call. So one of the things we're going to do is I'm rewriting actually the whole 4-week checklist for you guys. And so I'm going to share it during the kickoff call. Don't worry, for any of our student, if you attend the Monday, I'm going to share it with you as well. But the thing is, we're going to talk about 2025. We're going to reverse engineer how to get to those things. I'm going to share with you step-by-step process, what to do in the next 4 weeks to win. So we have a kickoff call this Thursday to get you set up for 2025 in a big way, okay? So if you are a fast action taker, I will actually, you're going to get the kickoff call. You start getting on the calls next week. You start diving into the material. And then what I'll do the first week of 2025, I'm going to set up a specialized game plan for the people that are joining right now. So what is that? That is really taking this an extra step to tune in what you want to do for 2025. And I'm going to give you a personalized game plan of what you should do. We're going to record it because it's like me, Liz actually gave me a crystal ball. I'm going to pull it up here. And okay, she gave me this for Christmas a couple years ago, right? And she says, I have this gift to have a crystal ball. So I keep it here with me all the time. And so that's what I'm going to do with you. I'm going to use my crystal ball and help you to really tailor a game plan. For anybody here that say, oh, she's crazy. No, I've been in this business for almost 4 decades, guys. Okay. Yes, I am a little crazy, but I've been in this business for almost 4 decades. And I've been through recessions. I've been through time. I was there when Gulf War started in 91. I was there when 9/11 was there. I was there when COVID hit. I was there when the recession of 2007, 2008. It's easy to be a coach. It's easy to go and brag about being successful when everything goes well. How many are there, that have the test of time? How many, that are out there being through the ups and downs of the economy, changes in administrations and everything else? This is the people you want to listen to, right? This is the people you want to follow because they have your back, because they have to have their own back. So, you want to be on the right crowd. So this is what it's about, to join our community and learn. And for the fast action takers here today, I am actually going to give you the first week in January, I'm going to use my crystal ball and give you a personalized game plan for what you want to do for 2025, whatever that is. I will show you the quickest path from here to where you want to go. But you have to listen. I have no control, guys, if I give you the recipe and you don't cook and you don't make the cake and you don't do what you need to do. I can do it. The recipe doesn't cook itself, okay? I give you the recipe, you need to implement it. Okay. Now, I'd like to call this the dream question. What has to happen by the end of 2025 in terms of your life and real estate business for you to consider the growth and transformation a dream come true? And, write it down. And any of you that want to share, would love to hear what you have to say. But what has to happen? What is non-negotiable? What is it say, and I want you to be realistic in your expectation. Something that you believe in your heart you can achieve. To say, I want to make $1 million in 2025, but where you are right now, it's not achievable. It's hard to believe, but maybe 250,000 is more realistic. That's what I want you to go for, okay? Goals to me are moving targets, because once you start reaching it, then you go to the next goal, the next goal. A lot of time you change goals too, because you're going towards that goal, but then something else happens in your life. And you say, you know what, that's not really what I want at the end of the day. I want to go this way. And that's fine. That's what life is about.
Yep.
Okay, I'm smelling what you're cooking. Okay. Well, I'm Italian. I have to put cooking jokes in there.
You haven't said the bake a cake one in a while, though. I'm proud of you. I've
Well, you were
realized I haven't
making
heard that.
fun of me, Liz, and so I
Because
felt
it was a little ridiculous, but now it's a nice fresh it's a nice fresh take after a few months off of it.
Well, they like me being corny, so it's okay. It gives the idea though, doesn't it? I mean, it's like when you say there are too many cooks in the kitchen trying to do too many things, right? Okay, so Susan says I need to make 180,000 and have 4 rental properties. Cool. So you're probably looking then at rentals together with wholesaling. To make at least 250,000, be debt free, have 1 new car. Oh, I like this specific. I want to dare you also. What you don't have to tell us, but you need to be specific. Like what car? Go to the dealership, sit in the car, go test drive it, rent it on Turo. You can rent any cars you want, even Rolls Royce. Be specific of what you want to do. Okay.
Well, yeah, and that's something that you have to do is you have to be so specific that you feel it. So when I was living in that really crappy apartment back in 2015, and I was telling the students or the ladies about this in the master class last week, I had to visualize my dream life. And even in the middle of freaking out and panicking, and I was suffering from severe panic and anxiety attacks, I would envision exactly how my house would look like while crying on a bathroom floor. And envisioning exactly what it looked like down to the shutters, down to the view when I walked in the front door. And I had actually manifested that while I didn't remember until I had already moved in and was sharing about my house that I had manifested that. So you have to be that specific. You have to know how you feel, how it smells. What are you wearing? What are you doing? What are the colors? That's something that will really make sure that you make this happen.
Yeah, and by the way, I'm sorry. My team reminded me, put the link again to schedule a call. Now, there are over 80 on this call tonight, which I'm so happy because being around the holidays, I know you guys are overstressed and busy. But the thing is, the game plan, personalized game plan, using my special skills in helping you to customize for 2025 is available on as a fast action bonus if you book the call right now. So I'm going to give you only 2 minutes to book this call if you haven't done it already, because I can't offer it to everybody. Okay, so at the end, we will invite you to book a call again, but I will not offer this. Now, any other bonus I will offer at the end will also apply to the ones that booked here. But as far as the personalized game plan, only if you book now and you join the community, okay? So I just want to make that extra clear. So Elizabeth, did I miss anything? I always seem to miss something.
No, you're good. I'm just reading some of these comments. So what does focusing, so after we get off today, because the mastermind is really to help you guys out and for you to give us that feedback. So what does that look like when you focus on yourself, Roseanne? What do you feel like? How are you feeling because you're taking that time? Because I went from someone who couldn't even do pedicures when it used to be 20 bucks, not anymore, and wearing like shirts with holes and all that, to now regularly I have my nails done, my hair done, I wear good quality clothes, and I get my toes done, no problem, with gel. So like, what does that look like? You have to be that detailed of where it looks like, and you don't feel guilty doing it, because the other issues I would do it and feel guilty. So sorry, Laura, I wanted to like comment because I saw that. That's how detailed, Chloe, that's how detailed I need you to be. All right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now moving into the next one, just a real quick call for anyone else who have come on. You can definitely download this. The link will be in the chat, our 7 Simple Steps to Successful REI ebook, so that you can be able to kind of like get in and really learn. And there's a lot of good content in there. It's really good. It's very thorough. All right.
Okay, so now I have what I call the obstacle question. What do you feel is your biggest challenge or roadblock that prevents your dreams to become a reality? And this is, I really want to know, because a lot of times, as you've been in the business for a while, like I have, or like Maria, and now Liz is coming along. It's like, I have to kind of think back, right? I have to think back, what did I feel the roadblocks and challenges were? So I want to hear from you so that we can help you overcome that. Lack of help, okay? at the end of the day, who are you going to ask, right? When you're in real estate investing, which is much different than being a real estate agent. So, anyone here that is a real estate agent, if you want to become an investor, you have to wear a different hat altogether, okay? But you're going to make a lot more money in investing than agent. So I was licensed for over 20 years. And then somebody asked me today, she said, why you're not licensed anymore? And I said, because honestly, I wanted to move more freely. I didn't want to have to disclose all the time that I was licensed, and I was making more money in investing anyway. I didn't have, once the reason to have the license mainly was to access the MLS, but nowadays you can access everything on the MLS without having the MLS. My own fears, right? Is that fears are normal, guys. Fear is normal. And that's there to keep you safe, but be careful because it's also going to paralyze you.
Fear is normal, but fear is also, it's an underlying something else.
Right.
So what is that fear specifically? A lot of people fear that they're going to try and fail. And then they're going to not even like themselves even more because it was just another thing they didn't stick to or didn't have, right? Like resolutions. Fear, some people are fear of I will do well at this, and with success comes change. So a lot of times people actually fear becoming successful, which to somebody else is like, no way. There's no way that would be a thing. It is, ladies. It's a fear. People fear of losing people because they move on in life, right? They get bigger or they start making money. They get fear of being taken advantage of or people only with you for the money, things like that. So fears come in. Fears come in. Confidence. Confidence is built over time, right? Confidence is built with doing the little steps, not the big ones that helps, but the little steps to moving forward.
Right.
And when you do that, you gain through.
Yeah, I see a lot of you having fear of failure. There's another fear that you don't know yet, most of you probably, is fear of success. A lot of you are going to start doing things and things are going to start working out. You're going to close deals and then you're going to block yourself. So that's another thing. And that's why being in a community where I can spot that and help the students. I have students that done very well in the beginning, went out there, did the deal the first month, and then they paralyzed because it was hitting them so suddenly. And they say, yes, they can do that. So that's another fear. But fears are normal. There are all kinds of fears, but don't let that paralyze you, okay? Work through them because trust me, it's just around the corner. That's where success is.
Well, I'm seeing also like fear of not having enough money to do mailers or marketing. You don't need it depending on the strategy you do. So if you're doing direct mail, you're being taught an old way because that's not the way to go anymore. And that hasn't been for a very, very long time. Direct mail is phenomenal if you have a budget for it, but you have to have a high budget for it as it has about a 1 to 2% response rate. So you also want to make sure that who you listen to, and this isn't just a jab at the person that commented, don't feel that way, because I love that you voiced it so that I can share that and teach others. Direct response has a 1 to 2% response rate unless it's a highly targeted list. I've seen people waste thousands of dollars on direct marketing. You have to have a high budget, highly targeted list for that to be super, super successful for you on an ongoing basis.
Yeah, there are other ways to do this that, they don't cost any money. And honestly, the ones that don't cost any money are actually the best ones. No, if I do anything, we talk in other webinars, I don't want to go into that, but anything you want to do, you have to be careful about. We're going to talk a little more here later about the 3 pillars of real estate investing, understanding KPI and what you need to know that you might not know. So we're going to cover that here in a little while. Okay.
And then also know, real quick, also know that fear is the fact that your body really wants this and this portion and what we're talking about. You want it so bad, you're afraid it won't work for you. The only way it will not work for you is if you're not listening to the people that are helping. If you're not listening and really showing up and being consistent and all of that. Like the student said today during her interview that I was doing with her for the students, she said, you have to be consistent in this. You really want this. So it's like, how can you do it? But why? Why is it possible for someone else to have it and not you? It's not. That person just didn't give in to their fear. That's the only thing that was different. They felt it and they did it anyway.
Okay.
All right.
So now I call this the gift question. Where could you use the most support from us and the other attendees today to make sure your dream come true? Why are you here today? What are you trying? What is something? And you might not know, so I want you to think about it for a second. What are you looking for? What is the aha moment that you're looking for? What is that thing that we can do to get you moving in the right direction? What do you need from us or anyone else here tonight? So anyone will share? A real guide.
I wanted to click for me that I too can do this. A real guide in this specific profession to find a community with the same mindset where I can grow, learn, and sorry, I'm trying to find things. It's going so fast. Where I can grow, learn, and network. I have basic knowledge, but I need guidance. Finding more deals. I'm really looking for support and community. I feel alone. Everything. Your affirmation is working for me tonight. Keeps me motivated. I love the virtual aspect severely. Support and guidance, specialized knowledge, information tools. I know of properties right now, and I need to help to close those.
Okay. Yeah, I'm reading it. I love the interaction here tonight, guys. It's really, really good. Okay. And that's the thing, it's like you don't know what you don't know yet, right? And you can do it two different ways. When I started in real estate in 87, I became a real estate agent, and I was in this community, and I talk about that in the book here with these two amazing ladies, Vi Dolman and Donna Viking, that really inspire me and show me that there is another possible life out there, that you can live the life on your own terms, and real estate made them do that, and therefore passed down that wisdom to me. But the thing is, I was lucky to be in a community like that. They showed me, they supported me, they encouraged me, and they showed there was another way of living. And this is what we want to create here. We want to create that environment, and it's different from everybody. Some of you can be successful right away. Some of you have to battle a mindset, your own fears, your own things. So that's what I say. What can we do to really support you? Because it's not just real estate. A lot of time, real estate, I can remember I said in the beginning today, skills is about 20%, which is crucial and important. But if you're not there mindset-wise, which is 80%, doesn't matter. You can have all the skills in the world. There is something holding you back. So, if a lot of you says, well, I've joined over program, I've done this and done that. And if you haven't succeeded yet, what is it? We have to take personal responsibility. What is it that I am not doing right? I tend to be very hard on myself, okay? And sometimes I have to be also gentle with myself. But the thing is, I do take personal responsibility for everything that I do or don't do. And so that's the first step. And then ask for help. You don't have to be alone here. It's not a lonely business. Real estate tends to be a lonely business, but that's why we created this community. So I'm going to
I always feel like I do like a public call after I do a student interview, because I bring up a lot of what was said. And that's one of the things she said. She said, I had to learn that my coaches couldn't read my mind. And she was like, unless I went on these calls and asked, because we do calls every day for the students, unless I went on these calls and asked them questions, I wasn't going to get the answers I needed. So one of the things for you ladies that I want you to remember is, unless you ask, unless you're getting on, unless you're asking, because we do lives every Thursday, and asking questions and stuff, you're going to struggle. You have to be willing to be okay with it. And what we always say is, no question is a dumb question or too basic, right? You're going to be able to ask anything. That's really important. I'm loving the feedback in here.
I know, I'm reading it just like, I want to I want to copy down all of it. It's so good. The other thing I like here, somebody was writing, this was a good, okay, Isabel, she said, I think emotionally. That's the thing about real estate, though. You have to think rationally, and sometimes emotionally I do too. I tend to sometimes think emotional. For example, I cannot sell my own house. If I live in a house, I cannot sell it. I'm too emotionally attached. And so, but everything else that can be rational. In real estate, you have to be rational. You cannot get attached to real estate. So really,
And you'll hear me say that a lot. Take the emotion out of this. I'll remind you, take the emotion out of this, right?
yeah. So, Deyanira, we'll explain more, everything in a little while about the calls. But yeah, we pretty much have calls every day. We have 20 to 25 calls a month. Okay, so we have a ton of calls. We have a ton of support, but we'll explain to you a little later. So let's talk about Carol here, because Carol was sitting where you are just less than 2 years ago.
Yeah. Okay. So Carol she's phenomenal, but I share this a lot. This is one of the main ones I share because it's just so detailed on what, real estate and tracking and all of that can do for you. And this is why I continue to share this one. So this was actually February of this year. This is what is our student group. She went in on her own accord and shared this on her own. I did not ask her to do this. I did not ask her to even be this detailed. I came in, as you can see, a day later almost, and I saw this. I think I screenshotted this a day later. So what happened is that it's been a crazy start to the year. As January wrapped up, we had 2 deals closed, JV, because of my buyers list, and we have 5 properties under contract. 1 wholesale, 4 lease options for a potential of $60K in revenue, and that's after revenue sharing on one of these, as one of these were a JV. What could $60K do for you on a monthly basis? Okay, just kind of keep that in mind as we go. In September, it was just me and my business. October, I added a part-time person focusing on MLS strategies, opportunities, plus a power agent, my own Maria, as she calls it. In November, I added a full-time person focusing on creative strategies like lease options and all of that. In late January, I added 1 more person focusing on lead follow-up. Okay, so she started adding all these people. We got better at consistently tracking KPIs as one of our 2024 goals. Still not 100% consistent, but much better. Our data shows 53 offers were made in January and 5 properties under contract out of this. I'm thinking we're not recording all of our offers yet as the number seems low. KPIs are a constant area of improving. Every day is a hustle. We're talking to sellers, agents, and buyers each and every day. Agents are now bringing us properties. Hard to believe. It took 2 months at the beginning of my journey before I was even brave enough to call a seller. $60K, by the way, was her take home. That's after everything else. So she gives some tips here. Consistency is key. Calling sellers and agents are key. Constant and never-ending improvement is key. I'm excited to see where we're going in February. Then she gives you a tip. Go call a seller today. Call an agent, have fun, and learn with each call and track how many calls so your KPIs show your progress. So she definitely believes in the progress and all of that. But one of the things that we always highlight here, she says, have fun and learn, right? You're going to learn with every action you take. Sitting in a room and learning from the coaches is phenomenal, but we actually want you taking action. Maria on Wednesday will give them homework, and then on Wednesday they have to come in and see if their numbers match. So they're doing like live property searches, comping, creative financing strategies, and all of that on live properties so that you can see what is going on. And in fact, today on the call, she said specifically, she said that has been such a game changer for her to have that time to really see. And then when she is right, when she has matched what Maria says is right? She said it gives you a confidence that you know what you're doing. And so they're starting to build these confidence as well. Okay, so this is something that I like to read because it shows you the growth you can have. In a year and a half, she went from scared of making calls to having a full-fledged team. She was coaching for REIW very briefly. She wanted to show like a different side to cold calling. The recordings are still on there. And then she's like, I'm too busy. And so she said, I'll be back, but not yet. So it's just showing you that this is something that's really, really important. Okay. My proof. So this is the check that I was talking about. The title company would not allow me to bring home the check unless I didn't want it wired. And they wouldn't allow me to take a full picture. I guess it's a safety thing. But this was the end of last month. This was my highest profit to date. She's like, this is what you can have. So I got this little sliver of a check right here. But I wanted to show you that this is proof. You can do this. $122,440, $122,440.67. Now, the norm for a wholesaling deal is about $10,000. I just want to show you what's possible for you. I'd rather like be very, very clear that it's, you know, the norm is 10, but I have seen students making 27. I'm going to show you a check here. The one that we interviewed today, 27,000 was like 26,000 something. She said that's her bare minimum moving forward. She said, I'm not going to make anything less than $25,000.
And
Okay.
that goes again to expectations, right?
Yep. And she's going to, I have full faith that she is going to make a minimum of 25 because her conviction is so strong in what she talks about.
Yeah,
All right.
there is a thing called like energetic minimum, you know, as far as what is it. And the thing is, a lot of you hit the plateau, the ceiling, because this is how much money you make every month. And for you to expect more, you have to jump into a quantum leap, but you can do it. Okay. So that's what we're going to talk about here. Reverse engineering. I want to give you some rule of thumb here because we're going to get into an exercise here to really do it. Kind of a high level overview of what we're going to get more when we get into with the students, or you get into the game plan. We're going to actually give you the exact steps for the first 4 weeks so that you can really hit 2025 running and have a deal, you know, in the next 4 weeks once you get started. Okay, so Lisa, like Liz said, you know, it's like we want to be more realistic. So I want to under promise, over deliver. But the thing is, you can expect to average, you know, at least $10,000 per deal, you know. And this other lady that let's talk about, her energetic minimum is 25,000. She doesn't want to do less than that. So that's okay. You know, a lot of you might say, I'll be glad to make 10,000 right now per deal, right? So $10,000 profit per deal wholesaling. And so that's what you should be your take home. Now we're buying whole. I'm gonna go with long term. Okay, so 1 year lease or longer. You should make at least $300 per door after all expenses. So after you pay mortgage, taxes, insurance, maintenance, if you have management fee, whatever, it's $300 per door. So that means if it's a single family, be $300, $400. If it's a 2 family, should be double that. It's 2 doors. 4 family, 4 doors. Up to 4 units is considered residential. Okay, so we teach only about residential, honestly, because I don't teach commercial. I've done commercial, but it's not what I teach. Fix and flip, you want to make at least 15% of after repair value. So if a property is 300,000, by the time it's a total rehab, you should make close to $50,000, you know, profit after all expenses. Okay. So one of the things is that we teach you when you calculate, analyze a deal, you kind of reverse engineer with fix and flip. So you take what the after repair value is, you deduct all your expenses, including your profit, and that's what your maximum allowable offer should be after you deduct everything. With rentals, I use more of an income approach. So it doesn't matter to me how much the rental property is. It's more about the income. You know, if you bring in $20,000 a month on a rental and a property is $1.4 million, that's fine, right? It's all about a function of what the income comes in. Wholesaling, same thing, right? You want to really reverse engineer. So if you want to make $30,000 a month, you know, it's going to take maybe 2-3 deals, you know, realistically. Now, the other thing I want to kind of say too, very quickly, it really depends on the area. Some areas you can expect to make a lot more in rentals and wholesaling. Some areas going to be less. So you have to do, that's why it's virtual is a really good thing, because let's say you live in San Francisco, you know, California. Well, you're probably going to get more for your money if you invest in Midwest, right? And so that's the thing that you have to keep in mind, that that's the great thing of doing this business virtually. You can get more for your time and money.
Yeah. And I'm seeing some of the chat. This is bare minimum, okay, that you're going to see. So 300 per door if you're doing it smart. Otherwise, I will not own a rental for under 300 per door. So this should be bare minimum that you want to see. 15% ARV, 10K profit. I mean, you will make sometimes less on the wholesaling, okay? but it's not as common. Most of our students make anywhere from about, what I'm seeing recently is like 27, 36, 35, things like that. So you get to do that too. Yeah, a lot of people do, and then they wonder why they're so stressed out with their rentals because they're not cash flowing enough. Yeah. As a travel nurse, I'm very interested in learning to do things virtually. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I don't do long term, so my buy and holds make closer to 5K. Exactly, right? So that's that, yeah, when they're occupied, right? That's a nice little caveat I saw after that. But yeah, so that's what you're looking for. Okay. Okay. Now we're going to do that. We're going to break this down. You've probably already did this before, a few of you, but let's go ahead and do this now. So for those of you who are new, and maybe those of you can revisit. So I want to talk about 1 year from now and today. Okay. So into the chat, I want you to put the strategy of choice that you want to do and how much you want to make on a monthly basis 1 year from now.
And I want you to use a number that's realistic to you from where you are right now. Okay, if you have not done any real estate, you don't even know where to start. I want you to be realistic. Like, remember, goals are moving targets. If you reach that goal in 6 months, that's okay. You can redo it for the second part of next year.
So what we're going to do now is you're going to write how much that you want to make. And I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to pick a random number. I see wholesaling right now. So wholesaling, I'm seeing average about 25K, Laura. So let's reverse engineer how many deals do you need to do if the average deal is 10,000?
Okay. So again, it depends on your area. Some of you could be only one deal, right? Depending on where you are. Some of you is going to take, 2, maybe 3 deals to get 25. So 1 to 3, depending on your area. Now, let me ask you, based on if you knew what to do and you knew the steps and you can hit the ground running on January 1st, how many of you would think you can achieve 1 to 3 deals a month by the end of 2025?
Yeah.
Okay, how many of you? Okay. Great. Okay. Yes. So that's the first thing. You have to believe in what you're doing, right? So if you say, okay, you know what? If I knew what I was doing and I knew the right area and I knew the right things to put in place at the beginning of the year, sure. By next year, this time, I can definitely make 1 to 3 deals. And remember, once you reach the goal, then you're going to set up another goal, right? It's a moving target. Okay. So now let's go into rentals.
Rentals, I saw one that said 10,000 a month.
10,000 a month. Okay. I want to share a story very quick with you. 2 stories, actually, very quick. One is my own. So what happened is I wanted to make $5,000 in passive income when I started buying rentals in 91. Now the 5,000 in 91 is the new 10,000. Okay. Is the new, so, 5,000 is 10,000 today's money. But anyway, so I wanted to do that. So by using this formula of, I was looking actually about $250 to $300 per door back then. I said, if I get 40 doors, I will reach 10,000. Now, I'm sorry, I originally was $5,000, so that would have been like 20 doors. So what happened is actually once you get going, once you know what to do, once you start having this conversation, you fill the pipelines, you surpass that. So in about a year and a half, I actually reached 10,000, but my goal was 5,000 within a year, which I surpassed that. Okay. So if we take the 10,000 per month, depends. Like we had Rita, she's also in the book. I told a story. Unfortunately, she passed away a couple years ago. But Rita made $10,000 in 11 months. She bought 21 houses for $500 per door in Cleveland, Ohio. Okay. So it is definitely possible. Again, find out what is your sweet spot of rentals per door based on the area that you want to invest and figure out how many doors it's going to take you. Is it going to take, 40 doors to get 10,000? It's going to take 30. It's going to take 20. It's going to take 50. That's the first step.
Okay. All right. Anyone want to put fix and flip numbers? Now, I want to say something here. The timeline is ultimately up to you, though, when this is going to happen. Okay, so if you say I'm going to be making 30K, then you have to reverse engineer back. What are you going to do to make that 30K on a monthly basis 1 year from now? Okay, because the worst is joining and then you don't do anything or deciding to do it, and then you're like, well, I'm not making the money. There is a portion here where this is on you to do this. We are going to help you every step of the way. We're going to get you there, but you have to be the one to do it, get on the calls, interact, and things like that. So now flippers, anyone, even if you don't want to flip yet, it's okay. What would you like to make? There we go. Okay. 50K per home, plus or minus 20K for fix and flip.
Very doable. You know, we're not gonna share. I don't know if you have the testimonial here later, but Kay out in Dallas, Texas, she started doing her first fix and flip was 65,000. The second one was in the 50s, and then she quit her job. She did those two in the first year. So with that said, you know, 50 per home plus or minus 20, yes, definitely. Yeah, it is very, very doable.
So let's say
and
you
our
do-
home range was ARV was 200 to 250, so it wasn't a $500,000 homes.
So let's say you do 50K per flip. You do 3 flips a year. That's 150K in a year, give or take. Okay. So I want you to do that. Now, going back to why. What's that money going to do for you? What is 50K going to do for you a month or every once in a while? What is 10K a month going to do? What is 25K a month going to do? Retire. Okay. What else? All right. Only interested in wholesale. That's fine.
You have to
Travel.
spend the money in your mind before you make it. Because you know the thing is, you know, you're not going to create the energy to create the money if you're energetically not a match for that. If you think that $5,000 a month is okay for you to live on, pays your bills, maybe you don't have anything more than that, but it's 5,000, that's what you're going to make. If you think like 20,000 is non-negotiable, that's what you need to make. That's
I
what you're
like
gonna.
that said that's already spent.
Yeah, that's right. You have to spend it in your mind. That's the thing. You know, you have to allocate it. You know, one of the stories I love to share is about that lady, Cynthia Stafford, her name, that she won the Mega Million, $112 million. And what she started doing, well, first of all, she was studying Joseph Murphy, the power of positive thinking, and all of that. And so within 4 months, she set up that she wanted to win exactly 112. It was really kind of a random number. I think it was adding her birth date, whatever. But the thing is, she spent the money. She went to the Bentley dealer and decided which car she was going to buy. She went to a financial advisor and see what she wanted to start. And she wanted to start a nonprofit organization. So she got all set up. So she had spent the whole money and then she won.
Yep.
So you can check on YouTube, by the way. Cynthia Stafford is her name.
So you need to figure out the whys, the most important thing here. All right. It's more important than how much money and the number of deals. It's why this money is going to matter, because if you don't have it, and then you have to do whatever it takes to get yourself there. A lot of ladies that I've worked with, that I talk to, suffer at shiny object syndrome. Focus, okay? You're going to focus for a solid year. And it sounds crazy because you're going to be like, well, what if this comes up? No, you have to focus. Do you want to know how I got to that point and why I still do wholesale? I'm hyper focused. It's working. Yes, I'm going to add in some other things, but I focused. I focused on a strategy. I focused on a lead source. I focused on, getting the team together. I focused. Shiny object syndrome will be the death of a business. And so, ladies, if you want to get to a point where you're doing consistently, you have to focus the whole time. And I want you to remember that, because doing 3 different types of strategies is not going to help you get to your goals quicker. It's actually going to take 3 times the amount of time to get there. Okay. All right.
And it goes back to what I said a little while ago, you have to take personal responsibility. We're all adults here, right? And so the thing is, most of you have had a business, worked in a job, had a family, had a house. You had to grow up at some point. So the thing is, you have to take personal responsibility here. You want to do this? Do you want to get yourself out of your own way and make money and live the life you go? Here we go. We give you the tools, we give you information, but do it. We can do
Well,
it for you.
and I see as a comment, someone told me it took 2 years. It does. It's not whoever teaches you that this is an overnight thing is setting you up for failure, and then you wonder why you're so discouraged. It takes grit, it takes work, it takes tears, it takes the happy moments, it takes all of that. But you can get there, and you can get there quicker than 2 years. But you can't give up, and you have to be consistent. And most people aren't consistent. Okay. All right. So now what we're going to focus on is worst case. I don't want to be here forever. You know this. So worst case scenario, what happens if you don't do this? Some of you have an already cushy life, right? And that's a good thing. I'm not saying that as a negative thing. So what's your worst case scenario? I was living my worst case scenario when I started. So what's your worst case scenario if you don't do this? Even shifting your mindset takes time. You will shift. You will shift. Yep. And that's why I do weekly mindset calls with the students. That's what today's call was. Just reading them. Okay. I want you to really think about that because it has to be so freaky that you're not willing to stay in that. You're not willing to let yourself go there. I won't even allow it to happen. Exactly, right? I'm not even going to think about it type of thing, right? I'm not going to because I won't go there. It's just not something I'm going to do. Exactly. Okay. So you want to write that down there though. And then above it, I want you to put, I'm not going there. So what's going to happen now is you need to come to a decision, as some of you know this, and some of you made this decision in the last week or two. So you need to come to a decision. And a lot of you feel you're this far away, but you're right here. And a lot of you, I see in the comments, have made the decision to get on the green line. But for the rest of you, what happens here is you have to decide that I'm going to do whatever it takes, but how you reach this is a series of little decisions of saying yes and getting yourself on this green line. And a lot of you will experience it like this. This is so amazing. You see that meme about entrepreneurship. Oh my gosh, I'm going bankrupt. This is phenomenal. Oh my gosh, I can't do this anymore. That's going to be your mindset. I tell you to prepare you, not to scare you. Okay. So what I want you to do is, how long are you going to do that? When do you decide? When is it going to be the year that you reach your resolution? Let's say it takes you a full year to do a deal. But you've learned so much. Oh, it's not going to take you that long. But you've learned so much that one deal then set you up to do hundreds of other deals the next few years. Because I told you, it took me 10 months to really be like, okay, real estate's great. Okay, now I'm doing it. But then I blew up. And if I would have given up on month 9, because I did the deal on month 10 of the decision, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have had the $122,000 check. So I want you to know. But you have to decide. Okay. So now let's build it all together. Okay. So our goal is to have consistent closings. All right. You're going to put that in the middle. Now, how do you do that? You have 3 pillars. You have the leads. You have the marketing. And you have systems in place. You will get there. You're already there. Yeah, Maria. I feel like it's the ladies who have the hardest start, boom, and do amazing. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but it's amazing. Okay. You can do things afraid. So I have a slogan behind me. I don't know if you can see it on this, like with this setup, but it says do it messy. And it's something I said to students once when I was like, just stop being perfectionist. You can do it messy, do it scared, do it fearful, but do it anyway. Okay? All right. So we have the leads, marketing, and systems. Now let's focus on leads right now because that's the most important part, because without leads, nothing else is going to happen. Okay. So the first thing is the lead gen. Okay. Lead gen, lead nurturing, all of that. Okay. So pulling in the leads, talking to them, all of that is going to be under here. Now, we talked about this last week, but if you weren't in, the follow-up is the most important part. Okay. It will be about 90% of your deals are going to come from the follow-up. It's very rare you're going to land it on the first deal. When you know that, you will come to expect it. I even say if they say no to me, I'm fine with that. I'm going to call them back. Until they block me, we're going to be on the phone. All right. So I follow up. Takes about 5 touches, 5 to 12, depending on what's going on. So when you know that, you can plan for it, right? Then it's contracts. And then it's going into contracts and financing. Okay. Sorry. It's just, it does that. It turns to the thing. So we do contracts and financing, understanding the contracts. If you're doing flips and rentals, having your financing in place is very important, right? So understanding that, okay? Yes, you have to, yes, you have to follow up, and you have to follow up a lot. All right, marketing is branding. You need to be the go-to for that area. They need to know who you are in that area. You have to get in front of them before anyone else. You have to have word of mouth, referrals. Anything like that is the best compliment. Brand yourself, okay? So understanding branding, really putting yourself out there, because people Google like crazy. They want to know who you are, what you do, where you stand by. Next is key performance indicators, KPIs. This is what Carol was talking about. Measure your results, what works and what doesn't. Laura, let's share about Chris again, because he was great. And I want to show you why the KPIs matter so much and what a massive difference it can make.
Yeah, so Chris was in Portland, Oregon, and he was already wholesaling successfully. He was making $40,000 to $50,000 a month net. However, he was spending about $10,000 to $20,000 in marketing. His main strategy was direct marketing, sending the postcards, and like we mentioned in the beginning, direct marketing works, but you have to do it in a certain way and consistently. So I said to him, I says, where are you getting your leads from? So I said, let's track for 30 days. There is a way to track with direct marketing, when you get people calling, where the leads are coming from. So we did it the way for 30 days. Then the second month, I said to him, okay, let's kill this lead generation. Let's focus on, put more money on those. So by the third month, okay, after 3 months, things start happening. Within the 3 to 5 months time frame, we looked back, and he was still spending $10,000 to $20,000 in direct marketing. However, his net profit was over $200,000. So for a month. So for the same marketing dollars, he was able to bring in 4 or 5 times more.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing? So I'm showing you how to get you there. Okay. So you have the KPIs, and once you do that, as Laura said, then you have the scalability to really move this business to as big as you want to make it. It can be as big as or little. If you're someone that's like, I'd be okay with 10K a month, 1 deal a month sounds great, that's fine. Okay, I'm just showing you what's possible. All right, moving on. Systems. Your system is going to be dependent on your strategy. So I put this last because it doesn't matter until you've done a couple of deals. It really doesn't. If you don't know how to generate leads, if you don't know how to nurture and follow up, you're not putting out contracts, you're not promoting your properties and measuring your results and scaling, you don't need a system yet. Okay? You're going to learn the system. And I talk about this because I've done deals all over the place. My main market is St. Louis and St. Pete, Tampa area, but I've done deals in Orlando, South Florida, Chicago, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, again, all completely virtual. And in order to have built a system there, I needed to know what to do, because how I talk to people in St. Louis is very different than how I talk to people in like Southwest Florida and areas like that. So you have to understand how to talk to them, how to nurture what works and what doesn't before you put a full-on system in place that is completely automated. So then what happens is you want to move into automation. So I like to ask this question because I want to show you what is amazing about this is who would want to close deals no matter where they are in the world? Japan, St. Lucia, Italy, Hawaii and Alaska. That's international to me. It's very, very far. Okay. The deals like that, because that's where I closed. My first international deal was in St. Lucia Beach. And the buyer was trying to back out. This was St. Pete, Tampa area. And there's a picture of me freaking out on the beach connected to Wi-Fi because I didn't have service because I thought I was going to get a break. And the buyer was trying to back out of the deal. We ended up closing. Okay. But it happens everywhere. You have to involve this into your lifestyle. If you're someone, Dora the Explorer backpacking closing deals. So if you want to do this, you have to involve it in your lifestyle. You can do this from anywhere. Last week alone, I was in 2 totally different locations while teaching. Okay. So understanding that and really doing, I solely do US right now. Solely US. Okay. And then what will happen is then you can make what's called a consistent model. I'm sorry for my handwriting. I'm writing in like weird angles to make this work. Then you will have a consistent model. It's for acquisitions and dispositions, which is acquiring properties and disposing of them if you're wholesaling. Okay. So now what I want to do here though is we're going to grade ourselves. Okay. Red means I have no earthly idea how to do this. I've never done it. I haven't even tried. Yellow means I have a general idea, like I'm pretty good at this. And green means I am the next Lauren, Liz, and Maria. I can coach on this all day. I know what to do. I have mastered it. Disposition, Dana. If you haven't done any deals, you're pretty red. You're all red because you haven't mastered it or started to master. If you have done a couple of deals, there might be some yellow in there. And if you have kind of mastered a few of these, you've got some kind of like business running, then you might have some greens in there. Okay. So if you're new, I expect you to be all red. That's normal. Okay. But this is kind of like a self-assessment to see where you are right now, what you do know, what you don't know. Scarlet red. Okay. Love it. Okay. That's okay. Yellow for me. Okay, good. Self-assessments are good. You're going to want to do this every few months. Okay. So my goal is to get you there. Now, what will happen is if we can get you to all green, so we're going to lose some things here. I don't know why it does this every time I do it, but you know what it said, so I'm going to just go with it. So my goal is if we can get you to all green, then what's going to happen is you're going to have the consistent closings. Okay. Now with consistent closing comes freedom. So there's freedom of time, the freedom to do what you want to do, and then the freedom of living out your meaning. So as we talked about the ultimate, so freedom of time is I don't want to have to wake up to alarms anymore. I want to spend my days the way I want to. If I want to spend my days giving back, I can. Things like that. Plain old freedom is what money gets you. Freedom to live your life, freedom of stress, the freedom of time, and the freedom to do what you want. Big things. Then meaning. Meaning is where I'm at in life. Meaning of being able to give back to the women, being able to teach these classes for free so that even if you decide not to join us, you have the right information. Meaning to help out others, right? There's a lot that can fall under meaning for you. It's going to look very personal for you. Laura, anything you want to say here?
No, I think to me, like you said, where you got to the meaning, that's where I am in this part of my life. That is get to the point that why am I doing this, right? I mean, the thing is like people ask me, why do you coach? And it's like, well, what do you do at some point in your life? You've done a lot, you've achieved a lot, you live a good life. there is more to it. So that's my meaning. That's the meaning, giving back to the community, having other women that I can make a difference in their life, and they don't know where to turn or who to ask, and because they cannot trust anybody out
Yeah.
there. And that's what I want to do. I want to be a safe haven for a lot of women that don't know what to do.
Mhm.
And they say, I'm stuck, I'm here. And the thing is this, you know, you want to do this. I give you the tools, I give you the knowledge, you have to do it, but I'm here for you. Okay. And I want everybody here to be successful, no matter where you are, no matter what your background, no matter whatever happened, it's gone, it's done. Today, tomorrow is another day. Okay. New Year's is every day. You don't have to wait till New Year's to really change your life.
Well, and I see freedom as having no self-sabotaging thoughts. You're going to have them. That's not going to change. The thing is you're going to build to confidence and everything else that you're not going to give into them. Okay? Your brain is naturally wired to be negative. It's naturally wired to look for the faults, whatever's wrong, the fears. You're going to still have them, but you're going to be okay. And you'll be able to overcome them more and more with the confidence you build. Yeah. Okay. Laura, let's do our mini roadmap. This is not the roadmap that we're sending to everyone else. Okay, our top 3 commenters. This is the roadmap that Laura is going to give. And Maria, if you want to jump in too, by all means, you are welcome to jump in at any point. Feel free to. She like lets us do our thing, but you know you're able to do that. The Mountain Is You, by the way, is a phenomenal book. So good on self-sabotage. So good. So definitely read that if you're someone that suffers from self-sabotage. Okay.
Yeah, well, somebody was asking me, you know, what the expectations. Now, I want to share one thing here. I want to say one thing. You know, it's different for everybody. Like, you know, Maria said it took 6 months, I think you said, to close the first deal. I have actually a business partner in St. Louis who is very super successful now. He doesn't even know how many properties he owns. And he's also a real estate broker. But he said it took him 18 months to close his first deal. He was working, you know, stocking inventory at nights in a warehouse while he was getting into real estate. So for everyone here, it's going to be a different journey. But I just want to share with you what is possible, you know, for a lot of you, ideally, you know, it depends on you at the end of the day. Okay. So the roadmap that we're going to share with you during the kickoff call is going to be very much detail on what to do for the first 4 to 6 weeks. Literally, it's about 4 weeks actually. And it will tell you step by step what to do. I just actually changed this map this week because we redid all the training when it comes to wholesaling and fix and flip. Now we're redoing the training for rentals next month. So for anybody here that wants to join, right now is the time because I'm redoing all the training starting in January, I think the second week in January until I finish it. And it's all brand new information off the press, okay, about rentals. But right now I've done fix and flip and I just finished wholesaling. So I'm going to give you a checklist on what to do step by step that will match what's in the training because I don't want you to study and then implement. That doesn't work that way. You're going to forget everything and then go back to square one over and over again. So we're going to go the step. But the steps are choosing the right area, getting into the quick win lead generation, acquisition marketing, then writing sales contract, and then exit strategy. Let's say you're going to do wholesaling, that will be your exit strategy. Now, within wholesaling, we have sub-exit strategies. We have dual closings, assignments, novations, and installment agreements. But, you know, that's going to be explained into the training. Then within 2 to 3 months, you know, you can start then, during the 6 weeks to 6 months, this is when you're going to start growing the business. Once you understand your KPI, where you should focus your efforts, then you can really start seeing 2 to 3 deals a month. The hardest thing is to build the consistency. I can tell you right now, the consistency to do deals every single month, okay? Because somebody might do 1 or 2 deals and then stop for a while. The biggest issue I see that happening is one reason. You're really focused, and it's understandable. You're really focused on the first deal. You finally get down the contract, your marketing, you put all your eggs in one basket with one deal, and you forget every other follow-up and leads that you have working. Okay, then once you finally get this deal on the contract, now you have to go back to square one. So that's why it's hard to build the consistency, because a lot of them make that mistake. So I'm very good at telling you, please don't do that. Okay. So 6 weeks to 6 months, now you start building the consistency. You start delegating, you start setting up a system. Now 6 months to plus, this is where you really start ramping things up. You're building pipeline of deals coming to you. Ideally, if you want to wholesale and maybe do some rentals or fix and flips, you're going to not worry about it. Just get the leads to come in. And then you analyze the leads and say, you know what, this would be a great fix and flip, or this would be a good rental, and you wholesale the rest. That's how you're going to work the strategies. So it really takes about a year to really get this business to a solid ground. Okay, it really takes a year to get it to a solid ground. Now, you can obviously see results in the next few weeks, but give yourself a year to really build the business to a level that now you know what you're doing, which honestly, in the great scheme of things, that's nothing. You know, with the help that we can give you, that's nothing. Because when I started, it took me 8 years. But I did not have anybody. I didn't have anybody to ask questions to. Yeah, as an agent, but not as an investor. So I had to learn the hard way. And I'm here to help you not to avoid all the costly mistakes that, number one, costed me a lot of money. Number two, delayed my process. Because I tell people, I says, I've lost over $1 million. And it's like, how you figure? I said, think about it. I lost over 6 figures on the low end. It's been conservative for 8 years, you know, every year. Because I wasn't really doing things at full potential. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have any to ask. I kept backing out of deals. Then now I say, oh, I could have done that deal, you know, if I knew what I was doing. So, you know, you're going to pay one way or the other for the education or lack of. Lack of, you're going to make the mistakes, or you're not going to make the money, and you're going to lose the money that you could have made. So, you know, you're going to pay for it one way or the other. But this is the roadmap, kind of a high overview of how that's going to work. Liz? Okay, so now we're going to go into a little bit. And
Sorry, I was talking. Maria, do you want to add anything? I was muted.
oh, yeah.
No, I mean, it's perfect what Laura said. I don't feel like I need to add anything. One thing I will say, though, is that I just wanted to point this out because, for example, I started as a flipper. Like, I wanted to go in thinking that was the way to do it. Most people were doing it in 2007, which is probably why the market crashed. But basically, this is the best way to do it, because there is an element here where if you start with wholesaling, you have no risk basically into these. And I want to say this because it's very important to stay safe, so you can, it's what Laura is talking about, right? You don't want to be leaving anything on the table. You really just want to set yourself successfully, so you have time to think, you're not stressed out, and you can start your business on the right foot. This is the difference when you do have training and somebody who's mentoring you and all of that. And again, I wish I had had that in the very beginning myself, and maybe I wouldn't have started right up front with a fix and flip, and then I'd risk losing my shirt on. And so I think this is awesome. So I didn't realize you were showing all of this, and it's fantastic. So thanks, Laura.
Thank you. And for anybody asking questions, we're not ignoring you. We're going to answer a few questions here at the end about real estate and strategies and so forth. You know, something that we can answer easily, because we're not going to get into a lot of the fine nitty-gritty tonight. But yeah, don't worry. We're not ignoring you. Okay. Now we want to share with you how we can get you there. And even if some of you, I see several of you that have joined, so I can't wait to start working with you. And see you this Thursday, and then we're gonna do the kickoff call. So the kickoff call is where it all starts. So it's gonna be Thursday. It's the last time this year, and in January, I don't know. We have a lot of things going on the first part of January, so we haven't decided yet when we're gonna do the next one. But this kickoff call is gonna be really special because, first of all, I finished a couple of new trainings. I'm going to give a brand new checklist. It's going to refer to the trainings that we just got off the press. So it's going to be a really powerful kickoff. And during the kickoff also, we're going to explain to you our expectation of you and your expectation of us. So we're going to explain to you the next steps. We're going to give you a game plan. On top of it, for the ones that you booked earlier, okay? You're gonna get a game plan the second week in January, once everything, all the dust settled with the holidays, it's more personalized to you, which I'll be using my crystal ball to do that. Now, my team, please go ahead and post a link for anyone else that wants to schedule a call, and we're gonna give you some other goodies. Now, anybody else that's gonna schedule the call now, you're not gonna get the special game plan I said in January. However, for the one that booked earlier, you are going to get the same bonuses of this one, okay? Rewarding you for taking fast action. Now, we're now having a lot of calls of time slots until we are, the kickoff call is Thursday at 12, is right, Liz?
1
1
Eastern.
Eastern, Thursday?
Because we're live for REIW Weekly at 12.
Oh, okay, that's right. Okay, I know me and Liz have to go to an art auction, so I know we need to be there at some point. But anyway, so with that said, we kickoff call is where it all starts. It's ground zero. Okay, we're gonna give you. On top of that, you're gonna get access to the pre-training area, and after you join in, and then we're gonna give you access to the student portal. The student portal is where I have all the training. So we're gonna go into wholesaling, buy and hold, fix and flips. Buy and hold, by the way, we're gonna go long-term, mid-term, and short-term. Airbnb. We have somebody, one of the coaches, she specifically trains on Airbnb and mid-term. We have all the forms, the contracts that you need, the scripts, the templates, everything you need. I call it like a Library of Congress. So, but the way I want you to approach this is I don't want you to study any of this training. I want you to just follow my checklist of what I gave you during the game plan and do that, which somebody was saying in the comment, I wish I had the steps, what to do every day on what I need to do. Yes, you will have that. I'm actually thinking I'm probably going to create an app where it's basically like an Alexa. In the morning you wake up and it will tell you what you need to do for the day. Wouldn't that be cool? So I've been thinking about that, by the way. So, for now, it would be
That actually wouldn't be a bad idea to do for especially like people new to real estate, where it's like, today you're going to do this.
Yeah. Alexa say, good morning, wake up. After your miracle morning session where you set up your mindset, this is what you're going to do today, right? Anyway, so on top of that, you get the support. And this is where really the rubber meets the road. This is where a lot of you need this support. And trust me, if you feel like you can go on YouTube and any of these places and study about real estate, at the end of the day, every deal is going to be different. Who are you going to ask? An attorney? They're going to probably kill the deal. Real estate agents, they're not investors, most of them, unless it's Maria. But most of them are not investors. Yeah. So with that said, let's talk about support, Liz.
Yeah, so we have a really incredible community at REIW. I really love my coaches, my community, and we have a lot of women who are very, very brave. Okay, very brave, determined, and have taken massive action towards their goals. Okay, so our community is definitely not for everyone. I want to make that very clear. It's for people who are done playing small. Okay, so it's not for somebody who plays small. All right, but if you feel really inspired, then this is where it goes. Because if you're ready to live life on your own terms and you know you're a good fit, then I want you to schedule a call. Because I tell people all the time, and my son's standing right here to tell me goodnight, anyone can post on YouTube, including my son who's 12. You don't know if it's right. You don't know if the information is right. So we do offer for you to book a call, fill out this application, and we want to know firsthand, are you going to go all in and bet on yourself? That's what I need to know. Okay, I'm reading the chats as they come in. So are you going to go in all in and bet on yourself? Are you ready to take massive action? Because that's what we're going to reward these life-changing opportunities for. So what happens now is the support. This is where, like Laura said, this is where the rubber meets the road. This is where I'm ready and I need help. Okay. So we offer weekly group calls where you can get on and ask questions. Like Maria said, there's 2 on Wednesday alone. Okay. So you can get on and ask questions, talk to us, hang out with us. There's structured calls. Every call has like a theme to it of what we focus on to get you moving. Okay. So a lot of people are just learning and they're not moving. There's no action. So they suffer from what we call analysis paralysis, where they're not doing anything and they don't even know what to do because they've just intake information and haven't done anything. So we make you take action. So we have weekly group calls. We have a Facebook forum where you can go in and ask questions any time of the day. The coaches are in there as well, and you're able to get help in between the calls. So you always have support 24/7. Now, something that is cool that I don't see other people doing, or they haven't when I started this, is something called office hours. Now, this is where I was on a cruise in June, and I was like, okay, I keep getting told, Liz, the things I would get done if you were in my office next to me. And I was like, how can I be in 100 and something students' offices at one time? Live. Office hours. So you get on Zoom just like this. It's going to be muted. Even I'm going to mute. And Laura's going to mute for the first like hour and 15 minutes. And you're going to work on your business. And in live time, you are going to ask questions in the chat. And Laura and I are going to answer them in live time. So it's basically one-on-one coaching every week where you can get in, work on your business, and ask questions. That's how I can be in all of your offices at the same time without cloning myself. And so office hours has been a game changer. When we first started it, women were like, things I've been putting off for weeks, I did because I knew you guys were right there and I could ask questions. You could make calls and we're right there. So office hours is kind of where we're at. Not only that, we have retreats once a year, as you saw, where you can come in as a student. You get 2 free general admission tickets. You can come in, hang out with us, and we also do intensives. So we do intensives. We actually have one this Friday. I told my newest ladies, I don't recommend you being on. That will be very, very overwhelming unless you already have experience. This could be very overwhelming. But we do these every couple of months. We all gather on Zoom, sometimes in person. The retreats are in person only. And you will get to hang out with us all day and the coaches and work on your business. We're going to travel together. We're actually planning a Disney trip too. REIW takes Disney because I love Disney, and then all the other ladies said they loved it too. So REIW is going to go in hot pink to Disney. Sound good? All right. Matching shirts. Maybe even we get custom ears. I don't know. All right. Sorry, I went off tangent there. So then you get that.
The weird one.
What?
And I'm the weird one.
I know. But I made Laura wear ears. So everyone has to wear ears at the Disney thing. She loves it. She just won't admit it. And then we also will help review some of your contracts. This can be a kind of like a bonus here where we're going to help review some of your contracts so that you feel good. We'll make sure that you're doing things right, analyzing deals with you, making sure it's right. I told you Maria has a whole call dedicated to making sure you guys feel prepared and all of that as well. So we have all of that. Now, one thing is where this is powerful is as an investor, it's your job to curate these opportunities for sellers and buyers, okay? So you want to do all the math. You want to make sure that you know what to do and you educate the sellers and the buyers. This is how getting support will help you because we're going to help you with all of this support here, create these opportunities so that sellers say yes to you and why. And also create the opportunities where you're not going to sit there and put yourself in a situation because you don't have the help to say, hey, don't do this deal. It's not good. It's not worth it, right? So there's that as well. Laura?
Yeah, no, that's great.
No, it's your turn.
But like I said earlier, the bottom line is, guys, it's not I say, you don't want to know the details. At the end of the day, you want to know, okay, are you going to make me money? Am I going to be well off by the end of next year, right? We explain to you how we do this, but, you're not going to buy the details. You want the results, right? So that is the bottom line. We just want to let you know that we have the support, we have the structure, we're here for you. You can talk to us 20 plus times a month. I mean, what else can we do to really make sure you're successful? It's up to you, though. You have to do the second part, which is, I want you really want this. And that's the other thing is, book a call only if you're serious, only if you're 100%. Now, if you're not 100% sure because you have fears or you have things that are holding you back, we can definitely talk to you on that, okay? So there will be a questionnaire when you book a call, and one of the questions is on a 1 to 10, where are you? I want you to be honest, so that we can help you overcome any doubts or any fears. But the thing is, I want you to be all in. If you're all in, I'm all in. because anything I do, I either do 150% or I don't do it at all. So when I decided to become a coach, many, many years ago, I used to coach men and women. Then we decided to do only women a few years ago. But I decided to be 100%, 150% a coach. And what coaches do is we help you, we direct you. We don't necessarily just teach you. We're there to help you and support you until you get to where you want to go. My favorite quote, one of my favorite quotes, Tony Robbins: you want to be successful? Find somebody who has been successful, follow what they do, and you'll be successful as well. You don't have to invent the wheel, guys. Why you all go out there and risk losing money, wasting time, getting aggravated, scare yourself out of the business, go back to your 8 to 5, stay in the house that you don't want to stay, drive the car you don't want to drive, don't travel 2025. Why you want to do that to yourself? You can be your best friend or your worst enemy. You have to make a choice though. Am I going to be my own best friend in 2025, or am I going to be tripping myself every step of the way? That's your choice. I'm here to help you, but you'll have to do the steps. So book a call. Let's talk. Let's see. You're going to either talk to one of us here. It's either going to be Maria, Brianna, or me. So, we're all in the family here. We're all here tonight, and we want to make sure that we're on board too, so they know and they see and interact with you, so you know who you're going to be talking to. But yeah, you're going to talk to one of us, and we're here to give you 100%, 150%.
Yeah, and if any of the times don't work for you, let Brianna know and we'll make sure we get you in. The reason the times are a little wonky is because we have the kickoff call on Thursday, so we're trying to get you in before then. Okay. All right, Laura, you want to offer any bonuses for anyone who books before we get off?
Okay, sure.
And then we'll go into a Q&A.
Yes, we still have to do the Q&A. I want to make sure that we respect that. But the bonus that I want to give you is for anybody booking before we get off the call, okay? And this is very important to understand, is we're going to give you $2,500 off of the program. Now, I've not done this in a long time. We're doing this now just because at the end of the year, we're going to get 2025. But I want to make sure that we get you going. So $2,500 a program if obviously you join, okay? And then that's the thing. We're here to support you 100% of the way. So any fears, anything that's holding you back, we talk. Now, I ask you a couple of things when you come on the call. Be super honest when you fill out the intake form, because it's very important for us to know who we're going to talk to. If you do have to talk to somebody else, a business partner, a spouse, or anything, make sure you get that kind of done before you get on the call. Now, one other thing I want to make very clear, I know a lot of ladies, maybe you have a spouse or a business partner or somebody. This is your dream, okay? It's not necessarily the other party's dream. It's not your spouse, your boyfriend, or somebody else you're with. It's your dream, not theirs. So understand that. Protect your dream. Protect what you want to go. Protect your goals. Okay, you're not asking for permission to anybody. If anything, you want support. And if you don't get support from them, that's okay. We're here to support you. But protect your dream, because this is your life. Nobody else understands your dream. You want this for whatever is your personal reason. And I want to make sure you understand that.
Yep.
Okay?
So a brief overview here. This is everything that's included. Okay, so everything we talked about here. We also have all the calls that we give every single week, unlimited questions in all the calls and all of that. And then we have a big, huge library here of everything that you would receive by becoming a student. Now, this was the check of my other student who I was talking about, who I interviewed today, 27K, right? She's right under 27K. She had her own little corner check. I was telling her we were twinning there, because she had her own. Hers got to be color though, but she actually took hers home. So she took hers home.
And then she walked around with it for like a month.
Yeah, she came to the retreat and everyone in the audience was freaking out because it had been a month and she still didn't cash this check, because she just wanted to walk around with it and and have that energy of it. But she stressed me out. I'm going to tattoo my next check. There you go. Hopefully it's a good one. So yeah, so we just didn't do that. And then I just wanted to show what goes on in the group. So this is screenshots that I've pulled. The ladies share them going live through properties, what they're looking for. They share how they get their deals and all of that as well. We have fix and flippers in here, rentals, wholesaling, you name it. They're sharing it all. They're showing what they're doing and stuff like that. Oops, sorry. And so it's just different like screenshots. Down here at the bottom, Erin made 74,000 on her very first deal. She's like, I made what some people make in a year as one deal. So it's been pretty amazing to show all of that as well. So now we're going to go into Q&A.
One other thing I want to say about checks, guys, I always say the first deal, get the check, okay? Just because I think it's such an impact. It's like the businesses, when they open a business, they frame the first dollar, right? The thing is, like with Liz, I knew very well if she was going to walk into the bank with $122,000, they were going to hold a check. And so I was like, okay. So the title company said, we're going to wire it to you. But I said, Liz, remember, you need to get a copy of that check. And so we had the check, but they wouldn't give it the real original check. It's kind of weird. But anyway, the first check, make sure it's a check, but then have it wired, because otherwise.
We'll make that clear. That was not my first check. That was just my biggest check.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
What I'm saying to them is, just make sure it's a check for your first deal. That one is because it was such an unusual check, right? But do that, but then wire, because most likely, especially if you have a new business account, they're probably going to hold it.
Yep. All right, so now what I'm going to do is stop screen share, and we're going to go into a little bit of a Q&A. It's very late here for us in Eastern time. It's 10, so we'll probably do about a few minutes of questions, maybe 5 to 10, where we'll answer all of your questions, and then you'll have that time as well to be able to book. All right. All right, so when wholesaling, you should only deal with an agent if a property. Laura, what kind of Q&A is this we're going to do? I guess that's what I should specify here.
Okay, so if it's about real estate, keep it, we can't get into a lot of details. We do have, obviously, if you become a student, you can get all the detail in the world. We have a workshop that we do on wholesaling. So those are more about this. So if it's a generic question about real estate, that's fine, but too specific, we might not have the time.
Okay. So and I want to be masterminding, so you guys can help each other out as well. When wholesaling, you should only deal with an agent if a property has been on the market for a while that is not sold, ? I know you should have agents bring off market deals to you too.
Yeah, that's what I call the MLS strategy. It's one of the quick wins that we explain as far as lead generation. So there is a way to do it, though, that is, when you work with agents in the MLS, you're working with a different environment and different people, because most agents do not understand the investing side. So there is a whole strategy behind it. But yes, it does work to work with properties off the MLS. You just have to approach it a certain way.
How much time on average do you need to allot each day or week to be able to get work on getting deals for starters for wholesaling?
This is a good thing. One of the first thing I want to, and we have this in the pre-training, I believe, in the training. One of the things I always suggest is your time block, from the moment, be very aware from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed. We all have 1,000 minutes a day. So what do you do with these 1,000 minutes? What do you do for this? So a good exercise is to sit down and figure out what you do from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. if that's your time. And then carve out 2-3 hours at least, and I would say at least 2 hours, if you can do more, obviously that's the better, every day to dedicate to real estate. So in the beginning, it might involve training by implementation, because I don't want you to go through the training and then the implementation. The way I'm going to give you the game plan is that everything you do, every step, is going to have a supporting module training wise, and then you go implement like your homework, so that you can learn as you earn, as I call it. Okay. But I would say give yourself at least 2 hours a day, the more the better, but at least 2 hours a day to really, and the key is consistency. So, if you do 6 hours on a Saturday, but you haven't done anything during the week, you're kind of taking 2 steps forwards and 2 steps back. So it's going to be hard for you to really get going that way. So consistency is going to move things better and faster.
Now I see a question about business entities. Legally, we're not allowed to speak about business entities, so we can't give advice on that. But we can tell you that what we use personally. So we use LLCs and trusts.
Yeah, and with then I said 2 hours. Yeah, most of the ladies that come to us have jobs, families, kids. So what we do is really give you what you need to move the needle the fastest to get you to close deals, so that you then can quit your job and devote all the time you want if you wanted to real estate, but you don't have to.
Can you help us envision our successful selves, like suggest things I wouldn't even dream of because I don't positively know what I don't know. Yeah, I do a lot of this during our mindset calls, but to give you a really like brief thing is I want you to envision how you would spend the day if you had unlimited resources, income, life is going good, you've reached your ultimate goals. How do you dress? How do you show up? What are you wearing? What do you look like? I do a whole thing. I'll do this again at the beginning of the year for my students, what's called a time traveling exercise, where I take you guys basically into the future of your future selves. But it's really just who do you admire the most? And if you had unlimited income, what would you be like? How would you show up? How would you treat people? How do you look? So for me, it was I would always show up looking good. I would always have my hair done, my makeup, because it made me feel good. You don't have to wear makeup or do your hair to feel good, but I know I work better when I look better. And so I started dressing as her long before I became her. Right? So I showed up as her. I treated people as she would. I didn't let the little stuff get to me, stuff like that. That's a very brief overview, but I'll do way more in depth in January because we'll do vision boards and stuff like that in January for the students. Okay, scrolling to that. So let's see. Questions. Yes, I have good questions here. I hope I didn't miss anyone. I'm sure scrolling back up to make sure. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I dress like her. So, if you can't afford the nice clothes, right? And I don't say nice like expensive, I mean just good quality. Then how can you dress with what you currently have to make yourself feel better? You probably have something in your closet that you feel like a bad bee when you wear it, right? Like you feel great. You feel like you could take on the world. You style it with doing your hair and your makeup, right? Or whatever makes you feel good. Get your good earrings on. What happens when you do that? Okay, so show up as her, start dressing. I have seen amazing outfits out of Walmart clothes, out of Shein clothes, things like that. It doesn't matter where they come from right now. What matters is how you feel wearing them. You have too much clothes. Same. I have a closet that literally could fit a queen bed and a dresser in, and it's stuffed all around on the things. So it's like, we got to purge. Okay. So I really want you to think of who is your best self, how does she show up, and start matching that every single day. And it's not that, and like those that are worried about reverting, you just have to make the decision that you're not going to revert back. Okay, even if one day you fall through, you like diet, you may mess up. Don't mess it up. Don't like let it mess up your whole life. I mean, I dress pretty well, but I also have a homeless look. I like to look homeless when I'm home. My hair is thrown up in this bun. Laura makes fun of me. I wear mismatched PJs, and that's fine too, but when I'm working, I get dressed fully, even though I work from home. Yes. And then as you start making money and you start bringing in the nicer clothes, you're going to have nicer homeless looking clothes, and you're going to have nicer
But it's like when we go to Free People, we walk by Free People and it's this expensive homeless clothes.
I call it homeless
Sorry,
couture.
Alex, I
Couture.
don't like Free People.
She likes Free People, but I call it homeless couture. Homeless couture. Yeah. And if you like Free People, trust me, there are some good pieces in there, but for the most part, it's really weird. I like my homeless clothes. Yeah, I know. You could still wear them. They're just going to be fancier, better quality homeless clothes.
Yeah.
Right? They're going to feel good. They're not going to be itchy. If you have holes, it's because you bought it with holes. That kind of stuff. Homeless couture. Okay. I love this. Okay. So I want to give top interaction. All right. So you have to email in. We'll get you set up. Our top interaction. This was hard because you guys were booming My team poll top interaction. So we have Shelly Moses, Jessica Therese, and Kish Duquette. I probably messed up your name. If you were not called, but you're like, I was interacting, it's because you're a student and you get something way more in depth. Okay. And because you became a student. So you get something way more in depth and like we're gonna personalize your gameplay and stuff like that. So yes. But yes, okay, congrats. Just email into questions@realestateinvestingwomen.com. Okay. So yeah. So now I want you to, real quick, before we get off, because I know we need to get off here, is I want you to really sit and think about your best self and what she would do moving forward from today. Don't let how you're feeling right now, how inspired you're feeling, disappear. So think of your best self and what she would do moving forward. She'll take action. Yep. Right? She won't give in to her fears. She won't let the self-doubt talk. She won't say, I don't have time for this. Like Laura said, we have students who are working a ton, have children, and are making this work. But you have to be the one to make it work. And it's a short-term sacrifice for a long-time gain. So in the beginning, it's going to be overwhelming. It's going to be hectic. It's going to be a lot. It's going to feel like I don't have enough time for anything. But then eventually you're going to start free. You're going to have time free up. And then you're going to work because you choose to work, not because you have to work. Like I love what I do. So the fact that I'm here on an evening when I could be with my son, I love what I do. So one evening every once in a while is fine. You get to choose how you spend your days. That's important. Okay. Laura, Maria, anything else you want to say before we hop off?
No, not really. I mean, I sometimes sit here and I feel like I felt when I was starting out, and I truly wish that I had that kind of guidance, because I didn't even know there were groups for women for the longest time, and it would have been very different. So whereas of course we got thrown into RIA meetings with men who were wheeling and dealing, and we're like, okay, what are we doing here? So this is amazing. I am very excited for the ladies here this evening, and I know we can change the world. I mean, the bottom line is that's what we're doing this for. It's not just about money, and that's the beauty of women's groups. It's never just about the money. It's not about the things. It really isn't. We're all thinking, hey, what can I do for my family, for other people? And it's incredible to me. So I love it.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay, I want to remind everybody, team, if you can post the link. We are going to, like I said, we are offering $2,500 off if you do join, but you will have to book the call now. And also, yeah, and also if you booked earlier, you're gonna get the personalized game plan. So at the end of the day, it's like, as far as giving you bonuses, guys, the biggest bonus I can give you is that you can do a deal, okay? And if you that's the thing. I mean, it's like I'm not gonna wheel you in and tell you you get this and that. We have everything built out for you. We barely scratched the surface of what is in this program. There are things in there like how to raise your own private money. There are things in there how to invest in high-end luxury real estate, doing fix and flip, which, by the way, I'm the only coach in the country that teaches that. There are things in there that, it's like how to get property in bankruptcy court. There's so much information in the training. And also within the training, you advance. So you start as beginner, then we have a second level, and then we have T3, level 3, where is boardroom, we call it, where are the ladies. So it's one of them, she owns over 70 rentals right now. Carol is in there, who does over 50 plus contracts a month. Paula is in there, which also teaches within the community about fix and flips. So these are the women that were where you were, a year and a half ago. And now they're like, doing amazing, but they're paying it forward. So it's not just us teaching. Maria's there. We have Dawn, who used to be a student. Now she owns over 50 rentals, most of them Airbnb. We have Jimmy and Patricia, who was a couple, and now they're a power couple with real estate. And so there is a lot of people within the community beside us that are there to pay it forward. So with that said, we are going to put the link here one more time if you do want the $2,500 off, and also the kickoff call. The kickoff call is this Thursday, last time this year. This is the perfect time to get in, get your ducks in a row, and let's hit 2025 running. So thanks everybody for spending the evening with us. Hopefully this was helpful to kind of reframe everything that you knew or didn't know. And I hope to see you on Thursday.
To my team, there's a few people having issues with the link. If you can get back to them, I'll keep the Zoom open just so you can do that and let me know. But yeah, I hope you all have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year, and it's going to be great. And I'll see a lot of you on Thursday.
Yes, can't wait. See you then, everybody. Good night.
Bye, everybody. Merry Christmas. Bye.